So 3D printing is going to become the dominant form of manufacturing at some point, but there's an argument about how it's actually going to work. So in order to achieve mass production 3D printing, there's really only two ways of going about it. You can have a fleet of smaller machines that produce parts at a slower rate, but together produce at normal production rates. Or you have one giant machine that produces large volumes of parts. We're going to start with the big giant machine because we're biased toward the print farm. So these are machines like HP multi-jet fusion or any other type of large, generally powder bed systems where you can create a large volume of parts very quickly because you don't have the restrictions of like nozzle movement and that kind of thing. The benefit of the big giant machines is the fact that they can be very consistent on a per part basis because it's one machine. It's easier kind of to maintain because again, it's one machine. So there's a single point of failure that is easy to point at and easy to troubleshoot. And they're very consistent. And that is all very valuable when moving into a production context. You want to minimize variability and ensure that you're producing a consistent product if you're going to make millions of a part. But here are the problems with the big giant machine. Number one, it is one big giant machine. Sounds exactly the same as injection molding, and it has many of the same problems. You have minimum batch sizes, which means you do not have the flexibility that you could normally have and that 3D printing has brought about. You have to fill up those batch sizes so you can actually run it efficiently. It is not very flexible because it's one big giant machine, and it is one big giant point of failure. If that machine goes down, you do not have a spare, or you are required to have a spare, which means your capital expenditure to build it is twice as much. It has all the problems of large monolithic manufacturing. And it will be slow. It has to be over there by the guy who actually owns the factory, and it can never really be close to the consumer. And it's just chunky. Comparing this to 3D print farms. The good news of 3D printing farms, they are exceptionally flexible. They are able to produce a single part, and that part can go right into a box. So they're able to produce a single unit at a time without any real sort of minimum quantity orders required. And they are completely redundant. If one machine goes down out of 1,000, who cares? It's not going to stop the system. And since print farms can be broken up and compartmentalized to meet the demand of an area, they can be closer to a customer and can produce parts near where they are needed, as compared to the big monolithic machine that has to be placed in a factory. Downsides of print farms. Again, the exact opposite of that. They have many points of failure. In fact, 1,000 times more points of failure. And since there is that much variation in it, parts can have a higher level of variation, potentially, than that single machine. Here's the thing. That's not necessarily a very good argument because if those machines are made consistently, reliably, and in a factory, each individual unit should produce the same type of parts as its brother. There shouldn't be a personality in each side of machines if it's done correctly. Now, that is a challenge within the 3D print farm industry, but lower batch sizes and higher flexibility is a problem in the big monolithic machines. It is multi-jet fusion versus print farms. These have a lot more flexibility and a lot more ability to address what a customer may need than this thing does, simply because this is a bigger peg to put in the smaller hole of what a customer may need. Now, that doesn't mean that these two are going to clash against each other. There is room for both. Plastic parts are a $600 billion market today, and $100 billion of it could be made with 3D printing. So there's room for both options, and both of them have applications and locations where it's actually very useful and they fulfill the need of the customer. But which one becomes dominant? That's still up for grabs. Comment down below if there's anything else about the 3D printing industry you'd like us to talk about, and like and share this video. Have a great day, everybody.